Hi there, and welcome to the Everyday Entrepreneur Podcast, where I, Kaitlin Fritz, help you reach your entrepreneurial potential. Together, we can build your dream social impact business so that you can leave a legacy beyond your 9 to 5.
Hello and happy Tuesday. My name is Kaitlin Fritz. I'm the host of the Everyday Entrepreneurship Podcast, and I have worked with hundreds of founders across 6 continents to grow, scale, and develop their impact-led business. And I am thrilled to have you here today. So welcome if you are a new listener. And if you are returning, I hope this feels like a warm cup of coffee, something that feels like home. I will apologize in advance for my nasally voice because we've had a cold snap here in the UK, and I immediately caught a cold. So that's just how it works. But I'm thrilled to have you join in today for this short and snappy episode on transitioning from having your services be free to being paid. Now, I know it can be awkward when you first start charging for your services. When I first started out delivering educational workshops, consulting, one-to-one coaching, I was just so thrilled to get experience, get my foot inside the door, that I didn't even think about charging. I know that's a huge mistake after we talked about pricing and business models earlier, but I was in this stage where I was developing myself as a founder as well as my business before my business was even formalized. And it got to the point where there were too many individuals saying, "Can I pick your brain?" or "Can you do this talk across town at a very inconvenient time for free?" And that's what I want to talk about today, is taking that ick out of charging. And how I've outlined it is there are 3 key reasons you should be charging for your services. Number 1, you are offering value. As a service provider, especially whether that's through technical services, consulting, creative services, you are delivering something of value. You're saving your client or customer time, energy, money, and that is important because that value has a monetary price to it. So whenever you're thinking and getting those shivers of, is this right to put in the email, what my price packages are, you are offering value, and anything in this world that has value has a cost. The second thing to remember is that you are charging for your experience. Oftentimes when I work with service providers in the early days, they immediately discount or underprice their services. They do not think their experience is quote unquote worthy of that price. And I'm telling you that is an absolute falsehood. You have experience, professional and lived, that provides a richness and depth to your offering. Do not forget that that experience, once again, has a price. And the third way to remember why you should be charging for your products and services is that you are running a business. If this was a hobby, we would be talking completely differently. But businesses are here to make money. But even if you are a social impact business, to provide the impact you want to have, you need to be able to keep a roof over your head. So when you're thinking about demystifying that, ick of charging, I'm using the term ick of charging because someone used that in a Zoom call and I absolutely loved it. Remember that you are offering value you are sharing your expertise, and you are building a business. Now, I'm not saying that you need to leave all of your free clients, free speaking engagements, workshop services, etc. by the wayside. There are times as a business owner, you can have the freedom to take on free coaching, free mentoring, free services if it is worth it and in line with your business strategy. So here are my 3 tips when it comes to taking free, quote unquote, work. Number 1, taking on free work if it is a cause you truly care about. One thing I'm really, really passionate about is increasing entrepreneurship education for women founders and diverse founders across the globe. Now, I understand that different parts of the world, different universities I work with, different arenas, community centers, etc., come with their own constraints and their own privileges. So if it is a charity, a cause, an event that I feel lights my personal and professional fire, and I can see the impact I'm going to make, then yes, I will do it if it is a free event. The second time that a free event might be worth it is if you can exchange for something that will build your business credibility. Think of things like PR, social media sharing, blog posts and SEO, footage, especially if you're speaking or getting some B-reel for your website. This can also be an exchange of not physical things. For example, connections, referrals, testimonials. If there is an amazing opportunity within a certain niche that is a free kind of gig, I will take it if it can refer me to 5 more clients in that industry so I can really build up trust and credibility. And the last time I think free and doing something for free is worth it is if you are still building your craft. So like I mentioned in the example, when I was going through my business mentor certification, one thing I had to do was work with coaching clients for free. To get that certification, I needed to build a portfolio, show that I was able to put these elements into practice. And absolutely, when you are building your craft, whether that is through your creative portfolio, your coaching client testimonials, when you are building up your repertoire, you may need to do something at a discounted or free price. Now, making that transition from free to paid is not always easy. I've been there. I know what it's like to lose a client, lose a deal because you have suddenly started charging or increasing your prices. But I am telling you, when you understand the value you provide, the expertise you have, and the voice of authority you bring to the sector of business, the price is worth the cost. And it's one of these things that you can just incorporate on your website, on your social media, and in your emails. So I think being able to be straightforward to say my business mentoring now runs at an X dollar or pound membership rate, or if a client comes back after a set period of time who is free and they want to work with you, greet them with open arms and tell them your price range. The more transparent and open you can be, the easier the transition is. And then when you have this clientele list, when you have your revenues coming in, you are able to pick and choose those free events or free work you want to do. It is not the other way around. So any way you can make it personal, that you are transitioning from free to paid, it will make it a smoother transition. So I love letting people know by email, even in newsletters, if you've been building out your newsletter email list, just share with them the value you're providing and the cost and price it is. I really, really encourage, especially my impact founders, my female founders, and my minority founders to start charging now. The sooner you charge, the easier it will be to especially rip off that Band-Aid coming from free to paid. I would love to hear your experiences, insights, and tips you've made, especially if you are a service provider. How did you transition from free work, free gigs, free speaking to paid opportunities? And if you have any tips, I would love to share them with the everyday entrepreneurship community. Thank you so much for listening, and please drop a review, a rating, or a follow wherever you listen to podcasts. As always, I'm grateful to have you here, and until next time, this is Everyday Entrepreneurship.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Everyday Entrepreneurship. To stay tuned and most up to date, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me, Kaitlin Fritz, on Instagram. And if you have any questions about building your business with impact, drop me an email with the link in the show notes. This podcast is produced by the great people at the Podcast Boutique. I look forward to catching up with you next week. See you then.